Meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everyone. We have an opportunity for questions or comments from the public. With none being said, we have an approval list of checks.
Move to approve the list of checks in the amount of
$209,010.61, and further move to authorize payment of the same.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
ayes have it.
We have some ZHB applications. The first one is for Douglas Powell and Michelle Travis on 438 Summit.
Yes, sir. All four this evening are residential applications for the August meeting. Your first one, as you mentioned, 438 Summit Avenue, is in our R7 residential zoning district. The owners would like to classify their single-family home as a duplex. What they did was they finished the basement and want to have their home or single-family home considered a duplex. A duplex is not a use by right in this zoning district, so they're pursuing the zoning hearing board to classify their single-family home as a duplex.
Yes, recommendation.
For councils to oppose this application. As many of you know, throughout our residential neighborhoods, many people finish their basements, but that does not allow their basements to be their home to become a duplex and their basement to become an apartment. So staff's recommendation is that council oppose the application.
Seems a little bit of a stretch. Everybody okay with that? We don't need to send Mary just a letter?
I think a recommendation would just be a letter from council to the zoning hearing board.
Okay, so be it. Next is Samantha Slaff and Ryan Compton.
705 Oak Terrace Drive, and they are with us this evening. They replaced a split rail fence with a stockade fence in the floodplain, unbeknownst to them. Putting fences up, even replacing fences, is not permitted by our floodplain ordinance. So they are seeking a zoning hearing board decision to allow their fence to remain, which they replaced on their property, and the staff is neutral to their recommending to council to be neutral to their application.
Anything you need to say, or?
Do we say things now or at the zoning hearing? I don't know how this works.
So why don't somebody explain to them the...
Yeah, the process of what you're going to be going through.
So this is the council meeting.
Yeah.
Your microphone, Mary.
Mary, your microphone, please.
Sorry. Your actual application is the zoning hearing board. They're a separate entity. Like this application comes before council tonight so that they can review it to see if they want to take a position in front of the zoning hearing board. So you don't have to say anything unless you really think that there's something significant that would add to council's consideration. Otherwise, they'll just review their application. And right now, the staff's recommendation is to be neutral. That is to not take a position in front of the zoning hearing board, which is good for you. So why don't you just see how it plays out?
Yeah, so generally when council takes a position on any of these applications, we either go neutral, which means we let the zoning hearing board decide for themselves, or we go opposed, which is just a recommendation from us to the zoning hearing board to oppose it. So I think the staff's recommendation was neutral.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not hearing any objections from anybody else up here, so our decision tonight would be to go neutral, which means you'll go before the zoning hearing board, plead your case, and then they make that decision.
Okay, so there's no favorable response.
Neutral's favorable this evening.
Council's never gone in favor of. We always just say neutral.
Okay.
So you guys are...
We didn't put any conditions on it. Usually we put a bunch of conditions on applications, and we're not even putting conditions on your application. So it's like the best you can do. Unless you want to try and do
At the council level.
Snatch victory from the jaws of, or defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, so your next step is to go to the zoning hearing board, and they will render a decision. Usually their next meeting after.
Their next meeting is their second Tuesday in August, and a applicant can request a same-night decision of the board. It's rare that they do that, but they have done it in the past. If they don't do it that evening, then they come back the second Wednesday of September and give you a decision.
Okay, and I did put that in our, it was like the very last paper in the application.
Yes, and I know Mike Shinton did bring it to their attention.
Okay.
You're good to go. Okay. The next one is Edwin and Susan Siver at Girard Avenue.
This is at 121 Girard Avenue in the R4 zoning district, and they are looking to put a roof over an existing front porch. So this is a front yard setback issue. The ordinance allows 50 feet of a front yard setback. Currently, they have 52.5 feet, and if they're allowed to put this roof over an existing patio, their front yard setback would be at 47.17 feet.
We're within the realm of acceptability.
Yes, sir.
So you,
Relatively small
Yeah.
stoop that they're putting this over.
Correct.
your recommendation is neutral?
Neutral, sir, yes.
Any objections up here? No. Neutral it is. Next is Scott McLaughlin at Park Road.
So this is at 236 Park Road in the R2 zoning district, and they would like to put an addition onto their house, which would be a new family room on the house, and it's related to the zoning issue is related to impervious coverage. In this zoning district, they're allowed 20%. They currently have 20.6%. And if they get a favorable decision from the zoning hearing board, their impervious coverage will go to 22%. As council is aware, you have a 3% threshold that, and they fall within that.
So your recommendation is neutral again?
Yes, sir.
No objections up here? Neutral it is. That takes care of our zoning hearing board applications. The next four items, or the next two items, would have four, I guess there's four
Yes, sir.
resolutions. Okay, so these all are concerning a traffic signal at the, what's it called?
It's the Horsham Gate Shopping Center and Willow Point Shopping Center on Blair Mill Road.
That's where the Lowe's parking lot comes out to Blair Mill and
Correct.
into the other side
Yes.
as well.
Yep. And this is all related to PennDOT. What PennDOT did to Goodman Properties when they developed 132 Welsh Road, that's where the new Wawa, the Chick-fil-A, and the Chase Bank is. So when PennDOT approved their highway occupancy permit for Welsh Road at that location, PennDOT put a condition on the developer that they had to put a new signal in at those driveways, shopping center driveways on Blair Mill Road. So this is what it's all related to. The signal will be owned by Horsham Township, so we need easements on both sides. So that's why you have two. One, the 730 Blair Mill Road is on the Horsham side, and the 3925 Blair Mill Road is on the Upper Moreland side. But we'll need easements for this signal to be constructed, and that's what these ordinances that you're introducing tonight do.
Okay, so we have two introductions and two resolutions, right?
Correct.
All right. Who wants it?
I move to introduce the ordinance as proposed for the deed of dedication of traffic signal easement at 730 Blair Mill Road for the installation of a new permanent traffic signal at Blair Mill Road and Horsham Gate Willow Point Shopping Center driveways.
Moved and seconded, so roll call vote.
Mr. Gallagher, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Nesbitt, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote? And Mr. McCouch, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is the time and place resolution.
To adopt the resolution as proposed, establishing a time and place for a public hearing on an ordinance for the deed of dedication to traffic signal easement at 730 Blair Mill Road for the installation of a new permanent traffic signal at Blair Mill Road and Horsham Gate Willow Point Shopping Center driveways for Wednesday, September 8th, 2021, 7:45 p.m. in the Horsham Township building.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote.
Mr. Gallagher, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Nesbitt, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
And Mr. McCouch, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is the Upper Moreland side.
I move to introduce the ordinance as proposed for the deed of dedication of traffic signal easement at 3925 Blair Mill Road for the installation of a new permanent traffic signal at Blair Mill and Horsham Gate / Willow Point Shopping Center driveways.
Second.
Moved in second, again, a roll call vote.
Mr. Gallagher, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Nesbitt, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote? And Mr. McCouch, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is a resolution for the time and place.
I move to adopt the resolution as proposed, establishing a time and place for a public hearing on an ordinance for the deed of dedication of traffic signal easement at 3925 Blair Mill Road for the installation of a new permanent traffic signal at Blair Mill and Horsham Gate/Willow Point Shopping Center driveways, Wednesday, September 8th, 2021 at 7:45 p.m. in the Horsham Township building.
Second.
Moved and seconded, once again, a roll call vote.
Mr. Gallagher, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Nesbitt, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote? And Mr. McCouch, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Last item is to consider resolution for an agreement of sale of Montgomery County for a radio tower location.
As council knows, at our Public Works facility, we have, the county has, for the last 18 or 20 years, have had a emergency radio tower for their 911 dispatching. This is the tower that they can communicate to the police cars and fire trucks and ambulances. And we entered that agreement, like I said, about 18, 20 years ago for them to construct the tower. They've gone on to a new system for their 911 dispatching. So they switched over in December, January, and they no longer need this tower, and they have abandoned, they've taken out all their equipment from the shelter. They have left this site. So at the same time that they were getting ready to switch over, Verizon contacted me and said that they were looking in this area for a new tower, a new cell tower, due to their zone for connectivity with their cell phones customers. So I asked them if they would be interested in the Montgomery County tower. They checked it out. They had their engineers come out, check the tower, and its structure stability and everything checked out. So Verizon is interested on going on the tower. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the county that they don't have any demolition cost of the tower. It's a win for our community that we don't have another tower popping up out above the tree lines. We're going to use an existing tower that's been in place for 18, 20 years. Verizon does not have to go any taller than what the tower is today. And then it's a win for Verizon and their customers for their coverage for this area. And we also, the township will also get a monthly rent payment from Verizon for being on the tower on our property, as we do with the tower back in Kohler Park. So what we had to do is we had to the county, we had to do the sale with the county at no cost. This is at no cost to the township.
Need to adopt a resolution for that?
Yes, sir.
Anybody will make that motion?
I move to adopt a resolution as proposed to enter into an agreement of sale for the acquisition of the radio tower and related equipment located at 1005 Horsham Road, Horsham Township, from the Montgomery County.
Second.
Been moved in second, and it's a roll call vote.
Mr. Gallagher, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Nesbitt, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote? And Mr. McCouch, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Do you have any additional business, sir?
I do not.
Dennis?
Aye.
Anyone?
No.
Nothing? All right, 13 minutes, meeting adjourned.